Well, joining us now is the resident expert for today's celebration, Pete Asch, chief historian here at the New York Stock Exchange and the director of programming and production at the NYSE. Pete, great to see you in studio.
It's great to be back. It's
Yes,
been a while.
It has been a while. We're happy to have you. Why is this such a significant moment here at the Exchange?
Yeah, I think to really understand this, you have to go back to 40 years ago, at a time when it wasn't traditional for presidents to come out. As you said, Reagan was the first sitting president ever to visit the New York Stock Exchange. Even the idea of the kind of connection between Washington and New York was really not done so publicly. There were a lot of meetings. The New York Stock Exchange used to have a members club above the floor. And most sitting presidents at some point would find themselves in a meeting off the floor, off the record. But to have during trading hours come down, open the markets, really at a time when an opening bell ceremony was not as normal as it is today. It was usually done by a private internal person, not an external person.
Mm-hmm. You know what's interesting is I see here that Reagan actually visited the stock exchange several times. What were each of those moments like?
Yeah, so he kind of was building up to this the 1985 ringing. In 1979, he came as governor of California. And that was really to ally the administration he was running in the government over there in the state with Wall Street, and he already knew he was going to be running for president, and so that really was just to connect sort of the economy of California to the economy of New York. Again, today, obvious, the Silicon to New York connection is big. Back then, that was more of a newer thing. And then returned the next year in 1980 on the campaign trail, and that was really, again, to put forth this agenda that he was going to be pro-business, he was going to lower regulation, he was going to cut taxes, and he was going to be a Wall Street-friendly president, culminating in the 1985 return, where he rang the opening bell as a sitting president. And on that day, always, 40 years ago, to again go back to then, the Dow was about 1,300. It's 42,000 today. That was in the midst of sort of what we now refer to as Reaganomics.
Yeah.
So between that March and August, so really the next few months, the Dow went up 300 points. Again, doesn't sound like a lot today, but that was about a 20% increase off of that bell ring.
Wow. And in some ways, his visit and the cornerstones of that visit might seem similar to our viewers today, almost like deja vu. That's because we have seen a presence, right, from other presidents before and after their particular terms. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so from that sort of opened the and Reagan did return in 1992 with Mikhail Gorbachev. But then you do see Clinton makes a visit after his presidency. The second Bush comes down. He doesn't ring the bell, but he does come down and visit the floor after 9/11. And most recently, obviously, President Trump rang the bell. Interestingly, the first person to have rang the bell as the head of a listed company, because when one of his hotels was listed here, and then returned as an incoming president for a second term.
Wow.
And then it goes beyond that to where we see governors and secretaries and other foreign leaders really begin to see the coming to Wall Street. And making their economic policy and making their economic plea to not even the U.S. government. We've had the Prime Minister of Japan come. We've had others come and really use this as a cornerstone of putting out their economic plan.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We have just a few seconds left here, Pete. But you hear a lot of traders talk about Reagan's famous visit.
Yeah, I mean, at the time you had about 5,000 people, 1,300 of them being traders on the trading floor. Really a big moment, and really that was the first time that there was a public connection between, like I said, the sitting government and the floor, and that's continued through today and really become part of the cornerstone of how the federal government lays out its economic plan.
And let's take a look, Pete, here at the opening bell podium as we await the opening bell.